criminal prosecution, something like that. Those types of things are what get them into that pipeline. Um, some of the things on here as well, y'all see we have the legalization and decriminalization of cannabis. We also have the anti the anti profiling legislation. So I just want to. Does anybody, as y'all are reviewing, does anybody have any questions, real quick? Let me just ask that real quick for a second.
Okay, so you saying eliminate the laws that criminalize cannabis?
Yes.
So could you be a little more detailed in the cannabis section? I mean, cannabis, we know what cannabis means. So, okay.
Got you. So I got you. So I don't know the actual legislation that we're trying to go against.
I had a question about the green rush, but that's part of what she's talking about, because that's the green rush.
Put it on the yellow
Oh, okay.
For a person like to have cannabis, marijuana, things like the possession of. Yes, ma'am. And then, of course, you go back to anti-profiling legislation, the discretion that these police officers have, how they have the effect to arrest you for things, all like that, when they should be able to give you tickets for some violations. And then, of course, we talked about that right to vote already. We talked about how there were so many different organizations, some that are here now, that fought for that for Dallas County. It's happened across the state as well. Hold district attorneys accountable. We do have one that we've been working with directly here as DA Crusoe. Not the best, but somebody who's tried to make some sort of strides, right?
Okay, you got it up there.
And then specifically other things like training with police. Of course, there's been other efforts about not spending extra money with police, but there's things that they already have a robust budget for that they can incorporate right now. And then, with policing, a lot of times it's reactionary, right? Policing is like a thing where it's like something has happened to you and you're having to call after something has already happened. So it's not really about probably policing is the thing that would help us. It's probably different types of ways to help the community and things like that. Would people agree with that? Oh, you got a question in the back? Yes, sir.
One of the biggest problems with that is that we always fight from the end. We need to find out about the law so we can fight before it gets implemented.
Say that last one time.
I said we always fighting from the end after it's been implemented. We need to know about the laws before it gets.
We need to be in the curve.
Right. So we can fight the law from getting in, being placed in.
Yeah. So yeah, he was making reference to like having the law enforcement placed into the schools and stuff like that. Of course, there's different perspectives about that, but we just wanted to make sure that people do have an understanding of what we mean by when we do say that school to prison pipeline. And so, we want security for kids, right? We don't want the policing on the inside and prosecution of children. We want protection of children instead of prosecution of children. So that's just that one. But I'm supposed to be
on there.
All right, we're back.
Okay, we're gonna have Mr. Butler come up and he's gonna speak with you, Mr. Butler. Are we ready?
So we got Mr. Butler coming up. Let's give him a round of applause.
Mr. Butler.
Is this on? First of all, if everybody can hear me, just give me what's up. Yes, no, let me know.
Everybody can hear? Can everybody hear?
That's good. All right. First of all, good afternoon, everybody. I see that everybody's had a little bit of distractions. We got conversations going on. I guess we must have been eating, and it's about that time, right?
Absolutely.
That's what I look at. Always being put on after we finish eating. So let me just go ahead and start. Speaking of eating, we talk about food. One of the injustices that we have is food deserts. We talk about food injustice. Now, the reason I felt like it was a challenge because they was like, well, could you do it? Actually, the other ones are what I'm more experienced in. I'm more experienced when you're talking about economical, when you're talking about anything that has to do with the insecurities and the deprivation of the community, criminal justice, all of that. I'm good with that because I live that. That's what the majority of our businesses and our services, that's what they cater to. But when you talk about food, it's like, well, how can you do this? You're gonna need a doctor. You're gonna need an expert. You're gonna need someone who's in the food industry to come in and talk about it. But if that's what you were looking for, I hate to tell you, I'm not that person. I'm not any of those people. But what I am a person who can give you direct knowledge of what consists of a neighborhood when there is a complete devoid of healthy supply of food distribution.
Wow.
That's what I can tell you firsthand. Prior to this, I was the program director of a violence interrupters team that was constructed by the city of Dallas under Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson called Dallas Cred. Dallas Cred is a year-round violence interrupters team that was established by a team of 12 individuals who went to 4 different zip codes that was deemed to be the highest form of violent crime, period. I had to do that for 2 years. In 2000, I was introduced to it in 2020 until my contract was ended in 2022. How did we help decrease violent crime in those 2 years? Well, the first thing we had to do was go into these neighborhoods and completely, immediately acknowledge what were the voids. See, it's one thing to say that a neighborhood is underserved, but it's really not just underserved, it's undersupplied. Does that make sense? It's not just underserved, it's undersupplied. Because even if I could serve it, because there's a lack of supply, even if I could, you couldn't get it. Does that make sense? It makes plenty of sense. So when we say things like food desert, even if there was an opportunity to feed and supply help to individuals, we couldn't do it because the powers that be, for whatever reason, are not supplying the means for us to make these things happen. It's not people's desire. It's not a desire to eat unhealthy. Unhealthy food is not underserved. As a matter of fact, in some places it's overserved. Would you agree?
Yes.
Lots of sugar. There's never been a complaint about a lack of white sugar. Would you agree? What about salt? What about sodium? All of these things that contribute to the detriment of a human body, we don't lack. So it's not necessarily a food desert that we talk about. It is a healthy food desert. Anybody agree with that? Please clap your hand. I need to feel like you're in the room. Thank you. It's a healthy food desert. Because we have the corner stores, right? There are corner stores that have all of the snacks. I know half of them because I was a candy man. Love candy. We have all of the places that sell, and if they are a grocery store, they don't get the first. And you have even in farming, you have what you call first pick, and then there are all the rest. So we don't get first pick because when you have first pick, when you go on the other side of I-30 and you go to those grocery stores, you will see this is when you know that you got first pick. Today is April, what is it? Thank you. Today is April the 22nd. Expiration date on produce. April the 22nd is not going to be no later than April the 29th because it's first pick. That means it's already it even has room to ripen. Like it is picked good, fresh from the garden, from the tree, from the farm. But the second, third pick is not. You buy it today, you better hurry up and eat it tonight because it will be no good tomorrow. If you buy a banana today, you leave it out, tomorrow it's what? It's either black or brown, right? Dark brown or black the next day. Now why is that? It's because it's not the first pick. But that's what's being provided.
We paying
It's what's
for it.
being provided. Yes, come to our home, come to our grocery store. But if you look at the expiration dates, the produce in the grocery store, the milk in the grocery store, the bread in the grocery store, you get it where I'm getting with this.
All right.
The things that you need most, you are undersupplied the most. You see? This is what that's what we want to discuss. We're talking about the undersupply of the things that we need to be served. And less of the things that we don't. And the one thing that we had to instantly figure as the violence interrupters team is all of the things that contribute to a person making irrational decisions. See, after a while, we realized it
We're
wasn't
gonna take a real
everybody
quick
do
pause
something wrong, but
right now.
not everybody